Few things piss me off more than politicians who say one thing and do another. The House Means and Ways Committee right now is discussing the Safe Hearing Act, and holy crap, am I angry about what's going on. And I'm going to tell you all about it in just a second. Okay, so suppressors, guys. If you're watching my channel, you probably got suggested by the algorithm, which if you did, awesome. I'm glad to have you. I'm hopefully going to earn your subscription with something that I say here in my dry, satirical way of doing things. So essentially what's going on right now is the Safe Hearing Act is being gutted by useless... how do I say this without just being as vitriolic as possible? I mean, I guess it's true. If you can't do anything, you should run for Congress. These so-called senators are essentially discussing the merits of things they don't understand to put laws and legislations that have dire consequences for us and control our lives because they are exempt from the rules and we are not. So suppressors. If you don't know, when you buy a suppressor, you basically have to sign your life away and write in blood for all intents and purposes, to where it can never be separated from you and you're basically bound to it for life. And you go on a registry and you get screwed with a $200 tax stamp so that you can say, yes, Daddy, I would like to have something that I thought was guaranteed to me by the Second Amendment. You thought wrong, dude. You know, that's the dangerous part that the bullets come out of. But no, this thing that just makes it quieter and more pleasant to shoot, yeah, you can't have that. But the ATF can have them. Having a hard time not swearing, keeping it clean for Jesus. So, essentially what's going on right now is it's being gutted. And rather than removing it from the NFA, which they have the votes to do, and they have the power to do so, they are being lobbied. They are being paid money to vote the opposite direction of what we voted them in to do. And there are some rumors as to who is doing that, but I'm going to lay out some groundwork for you real quick, and hopefully you can fill in the blanks for yourself. So let's just say there is a company X that sells and makes suppressors. Well, it's very difficult to get that license to be able to do so, as it is an NFA-regulated item. So it would behoove that company to make sure that the market stays as regulated as possible so that you can charge as premium a price as possible for what is essentially a muffler, shrunk down to fit on the front end of your gun. It's just some baffles, usually made from Inconel or stainless steel or other materials, that are able to reduce the gases exiting the muzzle, to reduce the report of the bullet. So by the time it exits the barrel, the bullet, the gases are not breaking the sound barrier and creating that crack that is so unpleasant when you're at the range. And if you've ever shot indoor, you'll know what I'm talking about. It is like being concussed if you are shooting unsuppressed. It's terrible. So what is going on is the House Means and Ways Committee is voting on the merits of whether or not the suppressor should be taken off the NFA. And essentially these Republicans are being lobbied to not do that. But they are dangling the carrot in front of Republicans or conservatives, or if you're just not affiliated with either party and simply just want, your rights back, that, well, we're just going to take the $200 tax stamp off. Isn't that going to make you happy? See, they're going to cost less money. Well, see, that won't actually solve the problem because A, we're still being tracked, which is unconstitutional. There's no precedent for it. And Chief Justice Kavanaugh actually, in a dissenting opinion, I don't remember on which case, made a point of mentioning how there is no precedence whatsoever for having any type of firearm or firearm accessory, the data of the owner be accessible to the government. There's no precedent for it, there's no law for it, and it is 100% unconstitutional, and I would have to agree. However, suppressors and NFA-regulated items are subject to your fingerprints, again, your life signed away in blood, to where they know exactly where you are, your local sheriff knows exactly where you are, and they are able to pinpoint you and what you own down to the day that you purchased it. And also, did I mention hit you with an unconstitutional tax to have your rights, which you already have a right to? Anyway, I digress. There are potentially companies that are lobbying to keep suppressors on the NFA because, as I stated in my previous point, which I'm going to connect here, if they control the market and they control the ability of suppressors to be only made and manufactured by a select amount of companies that are willing to play ball with them and keep the price high, then they can charge whatever they want. For instance, this R9 cost me $500. The tax stamp made it $650, and after sales tax, I was over $700 for what is essentially a $400 item. They would like to keep it that way because if the NFA regulated suppressor tax stamp goes away and then they get deregulated off the NFA, I could simply walk in and buy these like I could any number of other unregulated firearms accessories, which is all this is an accessory. It doesn't fire anything. It doesn't make the gun more lethal. It simply just suppresses the flash and suppresses the sound. And they want to keep it that way, again, because they make more money. Now, this is just a rumor. It's unsupported, and I will not name a name because I don't know the name of the company, but there have been rumors that have stated that there are some of the big players that are lobbying to keep suppressors on the NFA. And if you are listening and you care about that, you need to stop buying suppressors today. If you're buying one, don't wait for this to shake out, because what's the worst you lose? Another week of waiting to find out whether or not the company that you may have been buying from was actually lobbying to make the price more expensive and pretending to care about your rights while robbing you blind. Or it could simply just be that the NFA suppressor law goes away and we get access to them like we should have from the beginning. Either way, you lose nothing. So I would ask you, please wait. But if you simply can't, I understand. I couldn't. I bought the T2 and the SAR-9, but this was well before any of this legislation, back when Biden was still president. So that all being said, what can you do about this? Well, we still have a chance to save the bill. And the way that we will save it is by blowing up their phones and making it increasingly clear and obvious that we will vote them out if they continue to stand against our rights and vote essentially as liberals and Democrats with an R in front of their name, which makes them a traitor in my mind. And I will say that I am not disappointed or shocked. It's pretty much par for the course. But we can do something about it if we decide to. That's what makes the left so powerful. They choose to act. We don't. So I'm going to say this as loudly and as clearly as I can. Look in the description down below for a phone number that you can call to get redirected to your legislators that you will be able to make your opinion heard to. Now, I will say, do not be a dick on the phone. There is no reason to do that. You can be as angry as you want with your buddies. You can curse them and hope that God will give them syphilis and that they will die a long and slow, painful death with your friends at the range. But when you're speaking to them, try to have some decorum. Remember, these people are soft, they're scared, and they have never dealt with anything difficult in their life. They're politicians, after all. Remember that. So put the kitty gloves on and be nice. And someday maybe it'll be time not to be nice. But for right now, just remember, talk to them like you would your children. And make it very obvious how disappointed you are in them. And that if they continue to vote this way, we will be voting against them. We have a chance to do something about it. But you have to act. You have to make a choice. And you have to do something. I get it's inconvenient. But so is paying $200 for a tax stamp. So is being tracked by the government. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I'll try to keep you updated on this as I learn more. But as of right now, it's not looking so hot. We saved $200. If you like the video, you like the video. If you subscribe, I appreciate it. I sincerely do appreciate it. We're a small channel. It is growing, but every like, every share helps get the word out. And if you share this video with somebody who may not know about the Safe Hearing Act, you'd be doing A, me a favor, but also B, them a favor as well, because now one more person knows and one more person can do something about it. Okay. I will catch you guys in the next one.